entitled Parade. Will you please welcome Liam Friel?
The cries of a newborn baby saved her father's life. This is the story of love, it's a story of hardship, and it's a story of poetry. And it begins in 23rd of March 1921. On a Tuesday morning, a baby girl was born in Derrykelly, about 10 miles from here. She cried, and as she cried, her father was outside. He was chief of staff of the old IRA in the Western Brigade, and that was the time when the Black and Tans were in command in Mayo. He was on the run, and he'd just come back to the house to where his wife had given birth. The Black and Tans had been laying wait for him, and they captured him, and they held him against the gable wall of their family thatched cottage with one aim, and that was to kill him. The baby cried inside, and the scum of English prisons, who were the Black and Tans, relented, and one of them said, let's wait while the baby cries. In decency, they broke down the back door. The grandmother was inside, and they hit her with the butt of the rifle and sent her flying against the dresser, breaking delf and plates on their flagged floor. They broke her spinner wheel into smithereens, and they went to the room where the woman had given birth to the baby and pulled the bedclothes off the two of them. The father was taken to Galway prison, and for 9 months he never saw his baby, and the baby never saw him. The baby's name was Margaret Mary, but she was never known as Margaret Mary, except on her birth certificate, her wedding certificate, and her death certificate. When she moved to Dublin, Mother Superior, because there was 2 Margaret Mary Tunneys in the class, she got confused with this, so she called one of them Peg and the other one Mairead. Mairead had some tough times and some of the hardship times. In a period of 7 years, she lost 9 people who were very dear to her. She lost her boyfriend, who was only 23 years old. He died of pneumonia, but she was trying to marry his brother. She lost her mother, who was only 48 years, her father was 64, her grandmother, and her mother-in-law. And she lost her sister. Her sister was 13 years old when a dance in Cushla doing the half set. They were short of a person, and they asked the 13-year-old girl to join the half set. And the heel of a hobnail boot broke her ankle. And at the age of 13, for the next 6 years, she spent most of her time in Kappa Hospital in Dublin and died at the age of 19 in the company of her sister. And then she got married, and she got 3 miscarriages. That was the time when the Catholic Church did not allow unbaptized babies to be buried in Catholic graveyards. 2 of them were buried in the confines of the house, and the 3rd one, out of sheer desperation, the father took the baby in its white coffin and brought it to the church in Drummond. And the grave that he buried the baby in was the boyfriend's grave and his brother's grave. But the story also goes on and tells of love. It tells of a love of the Irish language, and a person who won a feis in Fingal in County Dublin, where her family had moved to. Part of the family was in Westport, part of the family was in Dublin. But in Fingal she won a feis, and it was for summer holidays in Knockmore Ballintown in Galway. And she said it was the best years of her life was that holiday that she had in Knockmore Ballintown. She had a great love of her country. After all, her father was chief of staff of the IRA, so she loved her country. She worked with Jack Lynch in Dublin, and she also listened to Maud Gonne. Here's the person who actually listened to Maud Gonne give her orations in Dublin. She had a great admiration of the written word and valued documenting stuff and writing stuff down, so that she would have valued the process where people of today will remember stuff, but they'll forget it, and what's written down gets remembered. She had gold Fáine that she won in the 1930s. She had a great love of camogie. She won an All-Ireland camogie medal in 1937, and then went on to set up a camogie team in Drummond in the 1950s. At that event, one of those events in Drummond, a guy called Sean O'Duffy attended. And you might say, well, who's Sean O'Duffy? Sean O'Duffy is the guy who was given the cup, a silver cup in 1923, to the Camogie Association of Ireland. So the senior inter-county players in the Camogie play for the O'Duffy Cup. She also loved religion, and for 62 years was an SMA supporter and delivered that magazine, and also the Legion of Mary, and was at her precincts in Dublin. Frank Duff, who was the founder member of it, attended that. So she actually was quite proud then in the 1990s when he was proposed for canonization. Her next big love was in poetry, but not just any poetry. It was poetry in telling the stories of ordinary life, of people, places and things in verse format. So the people she wrote about were people like her mother. One of the shortest poems is a poem about her mother. She wrote about Mother Teresa, Cardinal Fee, priest of the neighbourhood, her sister, and loads of different people, the Connemara, Bina McLaughlin and people like that. She also wrote about places, so about Drummond, about Uchtey, about Onwee, Westport, Castlebar, about Ireland, about Ballygall where she lived in Dublin, about the McBride home in Westport, St. Joseph's in Knock, and about things. So the things she'd write about her bed. She'd write about Mind the Dresser. If you go back to the start of the story, that was probably hard enough poem for her to write. She wrote about a smile, about apples, about flowers, about ordinary things in life. And all of that, I suppose, captures a lifetime. That in this brief story just talks about 9 minutes of it. But all of that has been captured in a book. And the book is published by myself. And Mairead was my mother. Okay, so in this we have an account of the story that I have just told you. But it also is a story of the value of the written word. And what I would ask people to do, two things, is one, buy the book. It is for sale in the shops in Westport. I actually have copies with me here tonight. But the most reason, what I want people to do, is to be inspired. Be inspired by somebody. That somebody could be somebody close to you. It could be yourself. But the important thing is that the value of the written word remains when stuff that we talk about is forgotten. And it only remains if we remember it and we document it and we put it somewhere. Because if we don't do that, what happens is it gets forgotten about. People have bits of it, other family members have other bits of it, but the whole story does not get documented. My plea to you, Toastmasters, is if you have a story, write it. Be inspired. Value the written word. Thank you very much.